Got you, princess. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Sorry. Get in. Choke butt in there. Stop being a baby. Stop being a baby. Don't feel bad for her. She's getting groomed. It happens every couple months. She gets a little fussy when her hair is long, so it's best to just take care of it, especially now that it's getting hot, but she'll be fine. We have a package to unbox, so let's do that. Alright, so we got the RF 24 to 240, f4 to 6.3, and a helix filter adapter, so I can fit my helix filters on this lens. Alright, so if you guys have been watching the podcast, you know that this lens is sort of like the perfect vlog lens that I've been researching. And what makes it so perfect is the fact that it's a 10 times zoom lens. So going from 24 to 240, pretty insane. So that's the helix adapter that I just put on it. So now all my filters are gonna fit on it. But this is for later. We have to head to a studio because today's picture day. I kept looking at the profile picture that I have on my YouTube and on my Instagram, and the fact that I don't have hair anymore is like, shit, I need to update my profile pictures. So we rented a studio and we're gonna go there to take pictures, not just of me, but also get some profile pictures of Luna, because she's been doing some great content too on TikTok, so go follow her. I'll leave her handle right here for you guys. Really fun content. I think like it's fun, not only that I'm starting to do content, but that she's also doing it and we're both having fun with it. So I need to go put some outfits together. I'm probably gonna keep it simple, just white t-shirt, black t-shirt, maybe, some graphic sweaters that I have. I'm not the stylist person, that's her. So, but it's okay. My photo is just gonna be from like here up anyway, so I'll be good. But let's go do this.
One eternity later.
I've heard photographers say that editing is about 70% of the job, and I have found through my experience that it's definitely over 90% for me. Not that I don't enjoy it. I think editing in itself I'm always learning something new. I've learned very quickly that there's 100 different ways to do the same thing. I've been at my desk for a long time, and I think like when I'm at my desk for a long time, my brain just goes. It's been about a week now, over a week since I took my portraits and took Luna's portraits. I do want to sit down sometime soon to sort of like go through my editing process, because I think I would feel more comfortable sharing how I edit my own skin with you guys. So I do want to do like a screen share and share it on this vlog. I did take a small break during editing to go on a date night, or actually like a date day with Luna, and we went to go see How to Make a Killing. When we are going to the movies and I'm like trying to figure out what movie to watch, sometimes like I just come across a trailer and I don't even want to finish the trailer because I feel like trailers just give away way too much. So I saw like the first maybe 15-20 seconds of the trailer, and the movie was way better than I expected. Awesome writing, love the way it was shot. I mean, like, there's so many bad movies now. When you come across a good one, it's great. Anyway, I'm about to get to my clients, and we'll see if we can get some footage during the shoot. Yep. That was a lot of fun. I hadn't done that in a long time. Jena and I had been working together for over 10 years, and when we first started working together, we would just jump in her car or jump in my car and just drive around and look for places. Getting back to like what felt like basics is nice, you know, just sort of like just being creative, just getting a couple different looks in a few hours. I know that it's very like creatively liberating for me, and you know, after talking to her, and I know it is for her as well, just getting to get out the house and do something. It's exactly what I needed, and so it's nice. She actually got a bouquet of flowers for Luna because she had been meaning to send us flowers for our engagement as a congratulations, and she hadn't got a chance, so she was nice enough to swing by a florist, and you know, she put together a bouquet for us. It's actually really nice. I can't wait to give it to her. I think she's gonna love it. I'm on my way back home now, back to the grind, just behind the desk, but it was nice to get out. All right, so Luna's out right now. I just kind of wanted to leave these for her in her office. This should be good. All right, now that I'm back home, I'm ready to finally go through these files and edit one and set it as my new profile picture. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into like the color and light correction, but I will sort of like do an overview on the mask that I did on the photo, as well as maybe some plugins that I use for editing in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and jump in here. These are 12 photos out of all the ones that we took that are my favorite. This is the raw photo right out of the camera, and then this is my color correction. I went with the black and white look. This might not be the one that I go ahead and edit. I think I like the color version better. So this is the color version. I really like the tones in this. The color correction and the texture that I brought out of it really emphasized a lot of my blemishes. So we're gonna go ahead and pick one of these and take into Photoshop. Now, out of these 12, these were my favorites, so only 3, and all of these ended up being color versions. So this one, and this one. Now, I really like all 3, and I think for my profile picture, this is probably going to be the one that I go with. I think I like the eye contact that I'm making with the camera, And really quickly, I'll just go over the mask that I did. So one mask is selecting the background, which I just darkened. So that is the original image. And then that's the image with the mask. And then the other one, I just brightened up my eyes. Now, one thing that that bugged me about this image that I'm gonna try to fix in post, but I'm not really sure, is this highlight here on my right eye. Let's open this in Photoshop. So I'm just gonna right click down here, go into edit in, and open in Photoshop. So the first thing that I'm gonna wanna do before I do any editing to this photo is clean up the skin. Now there's a bunch of different ways to do this, and I think people do like clone stamping, or they'll do the spot healing brush tool. I do the remove tool. Now the remove tool is a fairly new tool. You can use it with AI on or with AI off. Right now I have it with AI off just because it's faster. So I'm just gonna start from the top of my head and go down, and let's see how long this takes. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this. I got rid of like any big scars, blackheads, like stray hairs. I mean, there's still probably a few stray hairs in there, but it's cleaned up. You can see sort of like patchiness in my skin tone, just darker spots here on my forehead. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that. Now, if I was gonna print this and I knew that this is gonna be displayed somewhere for a very long time, I still think the best way to edit an image is using frequency separation. For as long as I can remember, it's been like the best way to do it. And for me, I have these actions here by Piximperfect, who is a YouTuber, awesome creator. He's always uploading, always sharing new tips on Photoshop. And I will go ahead and link to the video where he shares these actions. But I've been using these actions now for the last maybe 3 or 4 years. They're just really easy, and like you can make them yourself, but the fact that someone out there already did it, I mean, it's just easier for me to just download them. But anyway, so you download the actions and you get these two different versions. You get the 16-bit and the 8-bit. For you to find out which one you want to use, you're gonna look at your photo over here at the top left corner, and you're gonna see the name of your image, and then you're gonna see the color space that it's in and the bit rate. So mine is a 16-bit image. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the 16-bit action and then hit play. This little box is gonna pop up and asking me how much Gaussian blur do I want in this image. Usually 8 pixels is perfect, but because this is a close-up on a 50 megapixel image, I'm gonna go and raise this probably to like 18 or 19. And typically what you want to do is that you want to adjust this Gaussian blur slider until you lose the texture of the skin. I'm gonna go a little bit further, maybe keep it at 19, and then it's gonna separate the high frequency and the low frequency here in these two layers. Now, and you'll see low frequency is only sort of like the color and the skin tone, and high frequency is the texture. Now the skin tone is where I'm mainly going to be doing my editing. So I'm going to add a layer above the skin tone, and then right here I'm going to go into my clone stamp, and I'm going to set it at 100% flow, 15% opacity, and then I'm just gonna go in, and anywhere where there's uneven skin tones, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it from like the lighter skin tone and slowly paint over to the darker ones. And I'm constantly gonna be clicking the option button to resample and sample. This is sort of like how I've been doing it for the last 12 years. It's been some version of this. And the reason why I have the brush at such a low opacity is because the more I click, the more I sort of layer that color on top of it. And I don't want to do too much, because sometimes you aren't able to grab the right color. Maybe it's better if I show you guys this way and click off the frequency separation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just like click on this lighter area and then just slowly paint over the skin tones here. When I've taught people how to clone stamp this way, they've asked me like, how do you know where to pick the color from? And really what you're looking for is the same tone. And I have them practice on a sphere, on a 3D sphere. And I'll go ahead and pull that up as an example after I finish this section here. But let me just show you guys the before and after here. So this is what I edited right here, okay? So that is all my airbrushing. That is on top of the layer. And then this is before. So that's before and that's after. That's before and that's after. Now I think I did too much on this right eye. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a mask and I'm gonna go and make a big soft brush. 100%, and I'm just gonna click once here with the brush set to black right there. And then I'm just gonna lower the density and you'll see that just sort of like adjust the airbrushing there. Probably leave it right around there. Still a little bit too much. Let me see if I can do this. All right, so once more, there's the before, there's the after. That's just the skin tone. Now I'm gonna turn the texture back on. And then let me show you what I just did basically. There's the before, there's the after. Again, there's the before, there's the after. When you're clone stamping, just make sure that you have the sample set to current and below and not all layers, because if you have all layers selected, you're gonna get like this weird gray brush coming in from the high frequency layer. So just make sure that you have it to current and below. Now let me show you guys what I mean when I had people practice on the sphere. All right, so here's the sphere. You can clearly see where the hot spot up from the light is, which is right here in this top right corner. And then it slowly, gradually changes and gets darker towards the back where it's darker and the light is not able to hit the sphere. So if I were to paint just a black dot on this sphere. Let's see. Right, let's just put it right there. Now, in order for me to edit it out, here, actually, let's put it somewhere harder. Let's go down here. Now, in order for me to airbrush it out, I'm not, and actually on my screen, because it's a lower bit image, you're able to see these lines that show sort of like the plane of the tone image, of the tone from the sphere. So I'm just gonna go and on a new layer above it, I'm gonna clone stamp and I'm gonna select not from over here where it's lighter and not from down here where it's darker, on the same plane. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select it from here and then slowly airbrush it. And because I still have my airbrush set to 15%, I have to click it a good amount of times to get rid of it. And now I'm gonna go from below down here. And now it's gone, and here's the before and after. you're able to see the sort of the tonal differences a little bit better in frequency separation when you're working in the low frequency, because you're able to see, okay, for example, right here up in my forehead, if I painted a black dot here, again, I'm not going to be clone stamping from over here, because that will just, it would do that. It would just make it lighter. And I'm not going to be clone stamping and sampling from down here, because this would just make it darker. What I'm going to be doing is grabbing from the same plane, which is right here, and then slowly, with a bunch of clicks, going back and forth, edit it out. And I can't even really show the before and after, because I clicked so much that in my history panel, the paint is gone. But there is what was left of the dot, and here it is when it's gone. Now, if I wanted to soften up under my eyes even more, above my frequency separation layers, I'll probably go in and do the same thing with the airbrush as I just showed you guys, but under my eyelids. So I'm just gonna with 15% opacity, just line this up a little bit. Cool. And then the reason why I did that on a separate layer is because if I did too much, I can always lower the opacity. But here is the before and the after. Now that I'm looking at it, my eye is way too bright. My left eye is way too bright. So I'm just gonna lower the opacity here a little bit, maybe leave it at like 60% here. That's good. And let's darken my eye. All right, so I was able to get rid of that sort of like unnatural highlight. My eye is still a little bit too bright on this side. Let's see if AI can fix it here. Oh, that is like the best result that I've gotten with Photoshop AI. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes it's like very hit or miss. I mean, it looks 100% better than before. 100%. That weird highlight is gone. So let's just like compare before and after. Is this? So that's the right from Lightroom, and then that's after editing. Insane. I mean, just like even getting rid of the blemishes and the blackheads, just that it helps so much, and the scars. Ugh, man. Uncle Fester without skincare and Uncle Fester with skincare. So this is probably my new profile picture. I do want to quickly show you just two plugins that I sometimes use that may be faster. All right, so here's the original image again. I'm gonna go ahead and just sort of like edit out the blemishes again, but because we have the layers from when I did it originally, I'm just gonna go in and turn off all the other layers here. So this is before getting rid of the blemishes, and this is after. So big difference already, just that. First plugin I'm going to show you is by Retouch4me. So first, I think what I would do is do the heel, and then you can see what it's fixing here. So it's getting rid of all the blemishes that I missed, basically. So here's before that plugin, and here's after. So it just got rid of my moles and like any other little imperfections in the skin, but I'm gonna choose to keep my moles in, so I'm gonna delete this layer. And let's move on to the next plugin that they make, Dodge and Burn. So this is 0, and that's 200. So it really evens out the skin tone when it comes to some of like the darker areas. It's actually doing a better job than I expected. So there's the before, there's the after. Before, after. Before, after. So pretty good job. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe lower it a little bit, maybe leave it to like 80% and hit soft light layer. And now it's just gonna make this gray layer where it made its corrections, and you'll see like where it really brightened up the image and any parts where it darkened the image where it's not a lot really. But we're gonna set this layer to soft light. There you go. There's the before and after, and we're gonna go ahead and keep that. I think that's a good one to keep. Skin tone, and this just sort of like evens out the color of the skin. So here is my original photo. My skin tone's very warm and orange, but if I move it over to the right, it sort of blends it to this sort of like pale green, which I don't really like. So I'm not gonna choose to use this, but it doesn't work very well for darker complexions. So I don't usually use it on my skin tone, but for lighter skin tones, it works pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit cancel and not do that one. And now we're gonna use another plugin. This one is called the Reblum Retouch. So I have 3 days left. I'll probably purchase it because it works pretty well, but I'm gonna go continue trial. Okay, so right off the bat, you have 2 styles. You have the natural, and then you have fashion. Fashion is definitely, it gets rid of a lot more, but you'll notice it keeps like my moles there. It's not like fully editing it out. So that's cool. I'll probably do custom for here. So I'm gonna start with fashion, and I'm gonna lower the general. I don't want too much of this to be like softened. So we'll leave it about there. Texture wise, I think we're gonna leave it about there, maybe like 75%. And then the tone, yeah, we're gonna put it all the way up for the tone. So the tone just sort of evens out my skin tone to where, but it doesn't make my lips green like the last one did. So here's the original photo. Jesus. There's the original photo without the blemishes. Here is Retouch4me. Pretty clean. Here is it with Reblum. And we'll just compare Retouch4me and Reblum. So that's Reblum, and there's Retouch4me. But then here is my edit. It's sort of like too much of a difference because I did fix my left eye or my right eye. But basically what I would do after I'm done with this is I would add some grain. So I'm just gonna go into adjustments, hit grain, adjust the amount. It is a big image, so I'm gonna hit maybe 40% there. And then the size, leave it at 25. Keep the roughness at 50, and that is pretty good. Last thing I'm gonna do before I call it done is I'm just gonna add some dimension to my face, really just darken up both sides. I'm gonna go to select subjects. So with me selected, I'm gonna press Command J. That's gonna put my selection on another layer. So there's just me cut out. And I'm gonna create an adjustments layer. I'm gonna go to curves, and I'm just gonna bring down the shadows here. And then I'm gonna hold the Option and then click in between the 2 layers, in between my curves layer and the layer where I have myself cut out. So now it's only affecting the layer me, basically. And I'm just gonna paint out the center of my face here and keep the sides of my face pretty dark. Now what I did notice when I did that is that the blacks in my glasses and in the shadows of my face are not completely black. So I'm just gonna go and create a new layer on top of this, a new adjustments layer. And I'm just gonna go into levels, create a levels layer, and you see if I can make this bigger. I cannot make this bigger. Okay. Anyway, this levels layer here, you see this left side doesn't go all the way to the corner of the box. I'm just gonna pull this arrow in, and that should bring the darks to a much richer. It should make the photo more contrasty. I don't know why I'm using complicated words here. There you go. Sometimes like I like that fade from Lightroom, just sort of like bringing up the blacks, but when I'm editing, it's so hard to keep. So a lot of the times I'll end up with an image like this where I'll just sort of like undo it anyway. So let's go before and after one last time. So before, Jesus, after. Oh my God, dude. So yeah, new profile picture unlocked. Hopefully I edit this down and it's not over an hour long. If you guys enjoyed me doing this and want to see more or want to see some more tips, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys would want to see and I'll figure something out. I'll try to do some more tutorials like this, but this was just something like, because I was already doing it for myself, I said why not. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Until then, keep shooting. Peace. Let's see. Oh, there you go. You got no more claws, huh? You got no more claws. What's up? You smell delicious. You smell so good. Yeah. Yeah. Get out of here.